Hi, I am Norah Taylor. I am a junior digital media communications major.
And I am Jennie Simmons, and I'm a senior digital media communications major.
And this is the Silver Pen. Claire Obscure, Expedition 33, 2025 Game of the Year winner of a gobsmacking amount of other awards, and most notably, winner of my heart.
Honestly, yeah, when you pitched that this was going to be a podcast topic, I was very excited, even though I am still somewhat new to the game.
Yeah.
But I was still really excited when you said we're doing Expedition 33 podcast.
Yes. For context, I forced her to watch a 7-hour cut
You did.
of the game. Put together, some dude playing, no talking over it, just the scenes, the story, because I didn't have enough people to talk to about this. But now I have a soapbox and a roommate who loves me.
Exactly. And I watched all 7 hours of those. Two of them, about 2.5 of them were with you.
That's true, because I will always rewatch this game. So it's no secret that I fully believe this game should have won. It deserved the award that it got.
It fully deserved all 9 awards that it got.
9 awards is crazy.
It got 9 awards out of 12 or 13 nominations. And on top of that, because of that, it broke records this past year. It now holds for the most nominations and for the most wins. And the previous holder of that was The Last of Us Part 2 from 2020.
Yeah.
I'm a little beefed about that.
I was about to say, how do you
lie.
feel about that? Are we doing okay?
No, don't know if I'm gonna.
Yeah, get the tattoo shot.
I don't.
Yeah.
I think I'll recover. This game fully deserved it, so I can't be too beefed about it after watching 7 hours of it. It was a really good game.
It really, it's beyond just a good game. It's just a really good story. And the situation is like, I think a lot of the people who are salty that it didn't win are salty because they either A, haven't played it, or just B, haven't watched, don't know the story. Mm-hmm. Because despite the fact that it did get Game of the Year award, I think it was a very small kind of group of people that knew what it was about at the time of the Game Awards and loved it and played it. It wasn't as big as some of your other big name games. Like, I saw people talking about Silksong that year more than I did Expedition 33, despite the fact that I was fully on Expedition side of TikTok and things.
Yeah, I mean, I had never heard about the game until you brought it up to me.
Yeah.
I had never heard it because last year we got I think it was a new Grand Theft Auto game. I think we got a new one of those. So that kind of took over. And the Donkey Kong Bonanza game that came out too, that kind of also took a lot of traction. And Silksong.
Which I think that was the biggest one that people were upset about, not winning over Expedition 33.
Well, with all due respect to Silksong,
have you
nothing
played
compared. It? I have not. I don't even know what the game is about.
So I can't fully say like, oh yeah, Expedition 33 was way better than Silksong.
But we can.
Because yeah.
Our personal opinion, we can.
In my humble but accurate opinion, I don't actually know.
In our limited expertise.
Yeah. But okay, here's my take on the whole thing. And this is where I will say I can kind of dip a toe on the other side of the camp, is the fact that Expedition 33 feels more like a movie than it does like a game.
Oh, so you're on the it feels more like a movie.
I think it absolutely does feel more like a movie. And I think a lot of the people who have consumed the story of Expedition 33 are in your camp, where they didn't play it themselves, but they watched a cut together of it. They saw the clips, the scenes. And truthfully, I think that's a completely valid way to consume the game. Because the actual game portion of it is a turn-based combat. It is a skill tree development thing.
Right.
You pick your Pictos and your Lumina. That's just kind of like the skills in the game. And you develop characters that are going to be strong. And there's nothing stopping you from going online and just saying, okay, what's the best one-shot combo for Verso's character? And you can one-shot the enemies in that game. Easy peasy if you just get the right combination.
You can also get one shot by Francois.
This is true. Get the greatest ice attack ever.
And get dead immediately.
Yeah. Or you could be like 19-year-old me crashing on my sister's couch, staying up until 2 a.m. trying to fight Renoir for the 500th time because I didn't understand Pictos and Luminas. I still don't. I'll be honest.
And you played the game.
I haven't technically finished playing the game.
But you played most
played
of
up
it.
through Act 2. But because I was having to use my sister's PlayStation, I did end up having to finish the story by watching. And I did watch it because I was not about to wait a whole nother summer
Oh, yeah, no.
to finish it.
Spoilers up the wazoo, you would have been spoiled.
I was surprised that I didn't get it spoiled because it took me a couple of months after the game was released before I started going over to my sister's to play the game.
Well, again, that comes back to it really wasn't that big of a game, surprisingly.
Yeah, despite the fact that it won as many awards that it did.
Obliterated
Rightfully
the
so.
others.
But then you get to the question of like, if this is more like a movie than a game, a lot of the Game of the Year winners have fallen in that kind of category. Like all of the winners are like, if you think about Baldur's Gate 3 was also one of the games that won Game of the Year.
Yes.
And not swept as much as Expedition 33 because it didn't have the record, but won a lot of awards, as did Last of Us. And both of these are games that are just, yes, there are elements that are combat. I haven't played Last of Us.
Here's my thing with The Last of Us being considered a movie. Yes, I could see it. Like my best friend from high school, I told her, before you watch the show, watch the game. Don't play it.
Just watch
Get
it.
on, find a 8-hour cut of all the cutscenes and do that. Which you can very easily do that and have the same thing. The
Yeah.
only thing about doing that with The Last of Us Part 2 is you do unfortunately have to watch them do some of the combat to get some context.
Yeah. Any good game that's going to be worthy of Game of the Year, your combat needs to make sense in the narrative, especially if
yeah.
you're going to be a narrative. But the question is, like, are we going in the right direction by almost innately making a movie, great, expansive world, story building game, blah, 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 be a requirement to get Game of the Year?
Here's my two seconds on that.
Yeah.
Here's my hot
Do
take
30.
on that.
Take 30.
Take 30
Take
seconds.
30 seconds.
You're right. 30 seconds on this, as Cluck would say.
As Cluck
30
would say.
seconds. My thing with this is that it seems like nowadays we are moving into the more games are no longer games. They are interactive movies. Mainly due to the extensive cutscenes. If you look at cutscenes from movies from 10 years ago, not nearly as long as cutscenes now. Like cutscenes in Expedition 33, it's minutes.
And you'd have
minutes
3 back to
long.
back.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
it's still such a good game and still such a good plot. But I see your point as watching this change, because even The Last of Us Part 2, extensive cutscenes, even though it's
Yeah.
such a highly combat game.
Yeah. And so it's is that what we want in a video game? Is that just reflecting what we as game players want? Or is it the fact that there are these games that have a high enough budget, which I don't fully know what the Expedition 33 budget was, but I don't think it was that high because it was an independent filmmaker that came from a big filmmaking company.
Which is surprising with how beautiful the game looks.
The story of how it came to be is crazy because it is stunning. The music they found off of a guy off Reddit, I think. They were like, hey, I like your stuff. You want to score some stuff for us? And
Beautiful score.
yeah, and the voice actors, you have your main voice actors that are popular out the wazoo for video game recording. So they had to have a decent budget.
But still not as extensive as other video games from the past that directly come from the big studios.
Yes. But these decently sized budget allow them to hit all the components of, okay, we're going to have a beautiful, stunning, visually expansive world. We're going to have a well thought out, developed plot. We're going to have some combat and some puzzle solving. Although I don't know that Expedition 33 really hits the nail on the head for puzzle solving.
I don't think it did. I think it was just a lot of the combat.
The puzzle is the story. Like, girl, what's happening?
Honestly,
which you don't know
unraveling
until...
the story itself is a puzzle. I was in for a ride.
Yeah, I think it took me a week after dealing with my emotions at the end. Then it took me another couple weeks. I have a hair on my arm. Then another 2 weeks, sorry, to figure out what the actual point, or not point, but what the actual story was, who's fighting who's on whose side. Because it's like Inception in the sense that there's a world within a world.
It literally is.
Yeah. Which is crazy. Spoilers, maybe, potential. We'll
a few spoilers. We're not going to go too deep into it, y'all. We're not going to say big...
I won't make any promises.
I am. I will not let her spoil the big parts.
Okay. I spoiled them for you. Well, I asked permission.
for it.
This
I
is
asked
true.
for it a little bit.
This is true. Yeah, I needed someone to talk to.
But, you know, the whole movie versus video game and the fact that games are becoming these interactive like movies, I also think it comes down to preference and perspective.
Yeah.
I think it comes down to what do you want to get out of these games? Because some people want these mind-numbing experience, like where they can just get on the game and have fun. But others want to come on it and have like engagement, plot. They want to feel the emotions, which is completely fine. Some people are in it for these super intense games.
Yeah. I think that there is a hole in the appreciation for some of the more simplistic games that aren't necessarily mind-numbing, but are not as in-depth in terms of story and voice acting and stuff like that. Like, there was a game I played as a kid called Rhyme. I think it was called Rhyme. It started with an R. It was blue. But anyways, you were this little boy, and he was like lost on this island, and it was primarily puzzle solving. There was a little bit of like combat, fight the little ghosty guys, except they were like shadowy ghosty guys. I don't know. It's been a while.
Ghost hunting.
Yeah. But like, it was beautiful, simple. It was not nearly as complex and realistic as Baldur's Gate and Expedition 33 and The Last of Us. It was a much more simple art style, but it was beautiful in and of itself for its purpose.
Right.
And I think when we get to the Game of the Year awards across the board, that like middle ground of game tends to get underappreciated.
You're very right. I don't think I can remember like a simplistic game like that winning. Yeah. It's like you said, it's all these intense, like movie cutscene heavy games with these heavy plot and these beautiful scores and like images in it.
Yeah.
But I think that's just because nowadays that's what people want. If you see the games that we came out with like 10 years ago compared to what we're coming out with now, it is these like dark, heavy, deep games.
It's what resonates with us more. And not necessarily in like, I mean, like not in a way that's not in a bad way. No, like the whole point of Expedition 33 does get down to, it is a decision-based game. Most of the decisions that you make in terms of what your character says throughout the entire thing are moot. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Mm-hmm. But it does get down to one final choice that you make at the very, very end. And either way, it's a sad ending either way, no matter which choice you make.
It really is. The ending has absolutely destroyed my heart because I could see sides for both, but I ultimately did agree with one more than I did the other just because of my own ethics and moral principles.
Yes. And there are a lot of biblical themes in there that aren't explicit, that they're very underground. Mm-hmm. And so I'm very curious to see it. I don't know if any of the game developers were Christian or like the writers were Christian, but I would be curious to see, because they're, especially one of the endings, there's a very clear Christian theme to it about the creator and about the afterlife, and like who has the agency to make those kind of decisions. And so because of that, that's what made it just stick with me, because I've heard the whole thing about, we talk about predestination a lot in theological context, right? And I had heard the saying that like, well, this is God's creation. If you were to draw out on a piece of paper and you like drew a tree little sun, you were so happy with it. You, as the one who drew on that piece of paper, have the right to crumple it up and throw it away if you want. Mm-hmm. No one's going to contest that. You made that. That's your right. It's your choice. And so people use that story to apply it to God with his creation. He has the choice to decide when a hurricane hits, which is it's a very small thing brought to a very, very big picture. And so because of the dissonance of small picture, big picture, I understood it, but it didn't resonate with me. But watching this game, one of the endings is that exact argument.
It honestly is.
And it's in a way that you have sat with these characters for 7 hours if you've just watched it. Many more if you haven't. If you're like me, 19, crashing on my sister's couch, playing for 5 hours, trying to beat Renoir. Like, you now have an understanding of the emotions of like, oh my gosh, he has the right to throw this away. But now I understand the complexity of it. And so that stuck with me.
Honestly, I love the kind of games that have those deep hidden messages behind them, and I think, which is why I can't say that I hate the fact that that games today are going towards these like deep, dark, like movie-like plot lines. I'm here for it. I was here for it for The Last of Us. Its message is absolutely great. Whole other podcast if we do that.
Yeah. Yeah, it really translates to the movie world. Mm-hmm. You know, my favorite movies are the ones that make you think, that ask a question. Even if they don't answer that question, they ask you a question.
Makes you think. Which is the important thing, is make you think and reflect.
Yes. And there's a space for your silly superhero movies that don't have great impacts on the world and great theological or philosophical things to say about everything. There's a space for them. Mm-hmm. I am a full contender of that because I do not like it whenever film bros are like, that movie is trash because it had no point. And I'm like, bro, just go to the movies and have fun. Eat your popcorn, calm down.
Honestly, and there's nothing wrong with just watching a movie that's just fun. Yeah. That doesn't have a deep meaning. We need that at times. We need to get away from those deep, dark messages in movies and stuff like that makes us think really hard and like contemplate life. Yeah. To just go watch grown men fight video game characters like in Pixels.
Exactly. Yes. Pixels. Great movie.
It really was. It was a fun movie.
Good pull. Yeah. Basically, films and video games are a lot alike in that context. And then if you think about the Game of the Year awards as the mirrored image of the Oscars, Pixels isn't getting nominated for anything in the Oscars.
Absolutely not. I don't think it got any nominations. Yeah. But it was just a fun movie.
Fun, but not necessarily belonging in the space of the Oscars. And so maybe this is me coming to this conclusion, because I've been thinking about this all day on whether or not I think it's good that all video games are trending towards this. Mm-hmm. Because I'm scared of kind of a conformity of video games thinking that this is what's selling, this is what people want, so this is what we're just going to keep cranking out. But at the same time, if it's what we want, if it's what we resonate with, if it's good quality,
there's no shame in giving us that. Yeah. There really is.
So, I don't know. I am constantly chewing on that, and I think I'm going back and forth. But I think I've come to the conclusion that it's fine.
I'm on the same boat with you. Like, I'm fine with games coming this way because, like, some of the best games I've ever seen, I didn't even play. Yeah. I watched them, and the best example of this I could come up with is, have you heard of the Life is Strange series?
No, I don't think I have.
Oh, darling.
Do I have a homework assignment of 8 hours?
You have a homework assignment now.
I'll do it for you.
I'm assigning. Yeah, I watched 7 hours. Well, this is more like 30 hours for me.
It's okay.
No, so Life is Strange. So, spoilers, if you have never played this game, I'm going to give it brief. First game came out like 10-ish years ago. Okay. And it's all about this high school in Arcadia Bay and these two friends, Max and Chloe. Max has time-traveling powers. Like, it's a whole thing. But the end part comes down to, spoiler, save Arcadia Bay from this big storm that Max's powers have caused from her going back and forth in time trying to save Chloe.
Hate it when that happens.
Who gets shot in the high school bathroom. I know. It's a whole other plot. Whole other murder conspiracy up in there. So save Arcadia Bay or save Chloe. Oh. So it's like one life for a couple thousand or sacrifice that one life to save.
So it's like the trolley problem.
Yes.
Good old trolley problem.
Yeah, and the whole game, no combat. It's the whole, like, your dialogue choices have consequences, like that kind of route, and, like, you're just walking around doing stuff like that. It's a lot of dialogue, so I had no problem not playing the game, just watching it. Yeah. And then sequel came out 10 years later. I was so grateful for that. And then the third sequel comes out next month, so March 26th, you'll know what I'll be doing.
You'll be watching, or will you be playing?
Girl, I'm watching. I'm not spending $60 on a game that I just walk around and hit.
That's another thing. Some of these games be expensive. Which fair, because there's a lot of people that put a lot of work into it, and I'm not going to deny them their rightful earnings.
That's so fair. It's so fair, but I'm like, if I really badly want to play a game, I will wait until it gets cheaper and cheaper a couple months later. Yeah. Exactly. But, like, The Life is Strange, it's not something I see worth putting $60 out when I can just watch it and get the same experience. Yeah. And I just find the right clip that hits the right choices that I want them to pick.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of these movies, though, are like $25 now to go to in the theater.
Girl, that's why I'd be like, shout out Milan Ritz in Milan, Tennessee. $5 or $8
I'll
tickets.
just wait for them to come to streaming services.
There's also that.
Yeah. Sometimes video games are just really expensive movies, and I stand by that.
They are really expensive movies, but there's so much more that goes into them.
Yes, because there's the interactive. Okay, have you heard of Dispatch that came out recently?
Yes, I love that game.
Okay.
That is also a game that I watched. I
haven't fully watched it. Was that in the same year as Expedition 33? Was that up against Expedition 33? Or is that one coming out for this like upcoming round?
No, Dispatch is already out.
I knew it was out.
They released it. No, it was released last year.
So it would have fallen under the 2025 categories. So Expedition like absolutely obliterated Dispatch?
It must have, because I honestly don't know if Dispatch was even up for any awards, but I'd be surprised if it wasn't, because that game got so much traction. A lot of
traction. I mean, it had a lot to do with Critical Role, which, if you don't know me, is one of my fandoms. So I knew a lot about it. I just never played it, never watched it. I know it had an interesting gameplay to it, which intrigues me because a lot of the Game of the Years that have been coming out have similar game styles in terms of the turn-based combat. Expedition, Baldur's Gate. What is Last of Us?
The Last of Us? Oh,
yeah.
Honey.
I know it's not turn-based.
It is not turn-based at all. It is, you get dropped in an area full of like enemies, whether you have to like sneak attack them or like head-on have a shootout with them. Like, you get put in like this open map.
Right.
You have to take out all the enemies and then you can move on.
Okay, great. Cool. So not turn-based.
It is not turn-based. It is, you are free to take out, you can take out 5 people at a time if you're that skilled.
Dispatch, though, wasn't turn-based or that.
It was not like even that. It is.
It was like strategically dispatch your troops and strategic timings and places.
That's actually what it is. It, besides like the dialogue choices that it has, like you pick your dialogue. There's a lot of dialogue choices.
And there's a lot of endings, apparently.
There's so many endings to the game.
That stresses me out.
There's like 4 different endings you can pick up, and I think there's a secret ending, but no one has caught it yet.
Interesting.
Yeah, but the main like gameplay part is like you sit in front of his computer and you
playing a video game in front of my computer.
That's literally what it is.
About playing a game in front of my computer.
Yeah, so he like your character's like sitting in front of his computer and you see the computer screen, and then you like dispatch your team to like certain missions and places.
I know
and times.
people generally like really like it.
Yeah,
they're like this gameplay is awesome.
I think a lot of people like it for the plot, and a lot of people like it for the romance options. That's like the big kicker for the game.
That with Baldur's Gate 2. That's what I was kind of happy about Expedition 33, because they had the option. Like, I think you can technically romance like one of 2 characters if you choose to spend enough time in the like cutscenes talking to them.
Right.
But it's so far down in importance to the story that it's just like, focus on what's important, not on smooching fictional characters. And I appreciate that.
I appreciated that too, because the plot line was beautiful, and I'm usually all here for a good romance in a game or a movie, but I didn't mind at all because I was so invested in this storytelling, and as it unfolded, the twists and the turns and the emotions. You got my text.
I did. Well, it was like 12 a.m.
It was like 12 a.m. when I finished the game.
I get a text from Jennie, and she's like, "Cry my eyes out. How could you do this to me?
This game can take my soul as well."
Yes, like, this game can take my soul as well. And I think I said something like, yeah, my soul is still in that canvas or something. You know if you know.
You know if you know.
You know if you know. If you know, you know. That's the phrase.
Is that not what we said?
We said you know if you know.
Oh, our bad, chat. Our bad.
our bad, chat. Anyways, yeah, so overall, just video games, movies, very closely aligned.
They're so closely aligned nowadays. And at the end of the day, I think it's like, if you want to play the game, play it. If you don't, you can easily watch it.
Yeah.
Either way, you get the experience.
Yeah.
Just depending on what type of experience you want with this game.
Yeah.
And I think that's beautiful in and on itself.
I think so too, especially in a time, because like this is like a good example of monoculture at its finest. It's like video games being released in an order, being streamed by streamers, being consumed by players, all at a very cohesive, roughly the same amount of time. And then getting to enjoy just the exploration of a world and a story at the same time. is something that we don't have a lot with like streaming services where now people can just like go back and rewatch sitcoms all the time. Or like even like movies that they can go back and rewatch, but they're not watching them together. These games are being played together, even if they're solo players, in a way that we don't get the chance to see often.
That's so very true. Because whichever way you put it, you can still go out and talk to people about these
Yeah.
games, whether you watched it or if you played
Yeah.
it. I will say, though, I think there is actually one game you could never just watch it.
Okay.
Because you talked about same time frames. Assassin's Creed. Have you ever played one of those games?
I have not.
I spent 162 hours completing one game, and then you can watch it in like 5 hours. So
Dang.
if you want to get Assassin's Creed,
so open world?
it's so open world. There's so many missions. So unless you want to pick up 162 hours of gameplay, don't pick Assassin's Creed.
I mean, that's the same with like, I think a lot of the different games and cuts. Like the cut I had you watch of Expedition 33 didn't include some of the side fights that you can have.
No, it didn't include a lot of the side fights.
No.
But it was still 7 hours long.
It was still 7 hours long because the main story is 7 hours long. Mm-hmm. It's a good 7 hours though. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Yes, we do. So by the end of this, our mission to you,
Yeah.
go watch or play Expedition
Since you've
33.
sat down for us with like, what, 20 minutes now? I don't know. Go sit down for 7. You can break it up. It's fine.
That's what I did.
She did over the span of what, 3 days?
Let's not talk about how fast I watched it, Norah. Let's not
I peer
call me
pressured
out.
you, so it's okay.
This is going to get posted on the YouTube. Let's
not
not call
the
me out.
YouTube. You know what else is on the YouTube? Expedition 33.
It is. There's multiple cuts with multiple lengths. Some people just do the cut scenes, and some people have some of the exploration in
gameplay.
it. Yeah. Some people have all of the gameplay
I
in
would
it.
recommend doing one with some of the gameplay because the fighting itself has some like little moments of crackle of conflict or crackle of story to it. And then also as you run around, there are diary entries that people find.
The diary
and
entries
there's like
are good.
half of the backstory that you can find just through the diary entries that I had to look up afterwards because I did not find all of the diary entries.
That's okay. Not everybody does.
I am not a big explorer when it comes to video games. I'm like, just let me get to the point. Let me get there. Point A, point B, fight, be done.
Really? It depends on me what the mission is. If I'm like, I'm not really too excited for this mission, I would just run off, diddle-dally around, and go frolicking.
I can't do that because then
I
it
can't.
stresses me out. I dilly-dally afterwards. Then I
In
have
celebration.
a celebratory dilly-dallying, bro. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
I believe you.
Thank you.
I do it all the time.
I do it in real life by watching 7 hours of Expedition 33. Anyways, all right. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I would totally recommend enjoying some video games through watching them as if they were movies, because that's an option and a valid one.
Yeah, and don't be ashamed of having to do that. Like, honestly, there's no shame, especially if you're a college student like us, where we actually do not have the time to sit down and play like 30 hours of gameplay.
Or the budget.
Yep, we broke.
And with that, bye,
Goodbye.
guys.